Welcome back to Network Africa. Our channel's TV South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, who has been monitoring the Oscar Pistorius case, joins me now. Betty, can you tell us what the mood was like in court today?
Generally, it wasn't exactly too friendly. I mean, you have a very determined state counsel, Advocate Herinel, who is questioning the decision of the judge once again. And you had Bariru for the defense, who is sort of frustrated, like, why wouldn't you just let this go? And a judge question over and over again. It doesn't tell too well on your capability, like it's being questioned. Is she really able to make the right decision? So it wasn't too cordial, but everybody was civil. And they knew the judge will give her ruling today, and here we are. She said she dismissed it.
Well, this is the second appeal against the judgment. Now, does it look like the prosecutors have a vendetta against Oscar?
Well, what happened today, it wasn't an appeal dismissed, it was a leave to appeal. They're asking for permission to appeal against that second decision. The state, or Herinel, representing the state, said this is being pursued on principle. On principle, if someone, fine, it wasn't River Steenkamp he thought was behind the door, but he knew somebody was behind the door and he shot and killed. So, and every case in a court is used as a precedent for another situation. So he is saying that there is no vendetta here. He doesn't know Oscar one-on-one, but that it's being pursued on principle. Like, if someone knew that somebody was behind the door, why would he shoot and shoot 4 times to kill the person? You were actually shooting to kill.
Well, Betty, looking at the facts that the prosecutors are asking that they are asking to take the case to another judge, does that in any way discredit Judge Masipa in any way?
I don't think so. She's an experienced judge, and she's come from a long way. She's not new to the sector. So I do not think that is really the case. Looking at every other, she's but some of her judgments against really top people in office have not been questioned. But in this particular case, happening over and over again, I don't think, if you look at all sides of the argument, that's just it basically.
Oh, well, so looking at the way things are going now, is this likely to be the end of the legal road for the prosecutors?
For the few words that Bariru said while he was leaving the court, he was like, I certainly hope so. But the state still has an option to petition the Supreme Court of Appeal directly, since this was dismissed by Judge Masipa, because the procedure is that he must get leave to appeal against that sentence. It's actually the sentence now. But since that has been rejected or dismissed by Judge Masipa, they have the option to go directly and petition the Supreme Court of Appeal to hear that matter and see if that will be overturned like the last time. But whether they have the appetite for that, there's so many other issues that the National Prosecuting Authority is handling. But whether there's the appetite to go on with this case is another matter entirely. But many people are saying, look, why don't you just let this go? But it goes beyond what people feel.
Well, we'll see how this case plays out in the end. But thank you very much, Betty, for talking to us on the program. Betty Dibia is our South Africa Bureau Chief. Well, elsewhere now, the World Food Programme is executing an emergency operation to assist up to 80,000 South Sudanese refugees who arrived in northern Uganda after renewed conflict in South Sudan. Overall, the W.F.P is assisting close to 500,000 refugees in Uganda.
The World Food Programme is implementing an emergency operation to assist up to 80,000 South Sudanese refugees who arrived in northern Uganda after renewed conflict in the south. Overall, the programme is assisting close to 500,000 refugees in Uganda.
Uganda is hosting a record number of refugees almost 500,000. They come from Burundi, DRC, but particularly from South Sudan, which has been affected by very serious fighting, initially at the end of 2013, but even as recently as last month. Since that time, 75,000 new people have come into Uganda, and the World Food Programme is providing essential food rations to them.
He added that after the recent fighting in South Sudan, 75,000 new people have come into Uganda, and the World Food Programme is providing essential food rations to them. According to W.F.P, the record high number of refugees in Uganda is largely due to the conflict that broke out in South Sudan on December 15, 2013, as well as the renewed insecurity in Burundi and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Owing to severe funding shortfalls, the WFP had to reduce rations for all refugees who arrived in Uganda before July 2015. Refugees who arrived afterwards, as well as the particularly vulnerable, including the elderly, orphans and those in need of treatment for malnutrition, will continue to receive full ration. Cuts are expected to affect about half of all refugees on food assistance.
The United Nations has released a report describing the effect of the years of violence by Boko Haram in Africa's Lake Chad Basin, which includes Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad and Niger. Well, these attacks have worsened humanitarian crisis and displaced 1.4 million children in the area. Released ahead of the UN Summit on Refugees and Migrants on the 19th of September 2016, the report, Children on the Move, Children Left Behind, looks at the impact of the Boko Haram insurgency on children in the Lake Chad Basin countries and its devastating toll on children. The report noted that in addition to the 2.6 million people currently displaced, over half of them are feared to be trapped in areas under the control of Boko Haram and need humanitarian assistance. Well, we're being joined by the acting resident representative, Mr. Opia Kuma. Thank you for joining us on Network Africa. Well, from the reports released by UNICEF on the humanitarian situation in the Lake Chad Basin, tell us firsthand, what is your assessment of the situation?
Hello?
You can hear me. I'm asking, from the reports released by UNICEF on the humanitarian situation in the Lake Chad Basin, can you tell us firsthand what your assessment of the situation is? We seem to be having challenges connecting with Mr. Opia there, but we take a moment now, and when Network Africa returns, we still have our Africa Tech segment. Please stay with us.